The grim darkness of the far future, the universe of Warhammer 40,000, is a tapestry woven with threads of constant war, religious fervour, and the encroaching horrors of the warp. Among the myriad threats facing humanity and other sentient races, few inspire as much dread as the Tyranids. These extragalactic, bioengineered horrors represent a force driven by a single insatiable hunger: to consume all biomass and leave behind desolate, lifeless husks. The question that hangs heavy in the minds of strategists and lore enthusiasts alike is not if the Tyranids are a threat, but rather if they will ultimately succeed in their galactic consumption. This deep dive will delve into the aspects of the Tyranids, examining their capabilities, weaknesses, that will determine whether they ultimately conquer the galaxy. Greetings all, I'm your guide, the Archivist. Today I'll dive into if the Tyranids could conquer the galaxy. Before we begin, please make sure to like and subscribe waypoints down below, so that more people can learn from the archives. To truly understand the Tyranid threat, one must first grasp the sheer scale and nature of their existence. Unlike other factions in the Warhammer 40k verse, the Tyranids are not a civilization in the traditional sense. They are a hive mind, a collective consciousness that spans across untold billions of organisms, all driven by a single overriding instinct: survival through consumption. This hive mind, also referred to as the hive mind, exists beyond the physical realm, a gestalt consciousness that guides the swarms with uncanny precision. This unified purpose grants them a level of coordination and adaptability rarely seen in other species. The Tyranids arrive in the galaxy in colossal hive fleets, each a bioship armada teeming with countless organisms, from the smallest spore to monstrous biotitans. These fleets are not simply vessels of war, they are living ecosystems, capable of self-repair, adaptation, and reproduction. As they approach a planet, they unleash a devastating wave of bioforms. Lictors infiltrate and sow terror, gene stealers corrupt local populations and prepare the way for invasion, and mycetic spores rain down, delivering waves of termagants, hormagaunts, and other specialized bioforms. The Tyranids' greatest strength lies in their adaptability. They possess the unique ability to absorb and repurpose the genetic material of consumed organisms, evolving new bioforms and countering specific threats. This constant evolution makes them a nightmare to fight, as tactics that prove effective against one Tyranid strain may be completely useless against another. The Tyranids are masters of bioengineering, constantly refining their weapons and defenses through a process of accelerated natural selection. Consider the details of their combat prowess. Tyranid weaponry is entirely organic, ranging from chitinous claws and teeth to bioplasma projectors and spore-based weaponry. Their warriors are relentless, driven by instinct and controlled by the hive mind, showing no fear or hesitation. They swarm their enemies, overwhelming them with sheer numbers and relentless attacks. The hive mind constantly analyzes the battlefield, adapting its strategies and deploying specialized bioforms to exploit weaknesses and neutralize threats. However, the Tyranids are not without their vulnerabilities. One of their primary weaknesses is their reliance on their hive mind. Disrupting the hive mind's control can lead to disorganization and infighting amongst the swarm. This vulnerability has been exploited on several occasions, most notably during the Battle of Macragge, where the Ultramarines successfully severed the link between the hive mind and the local Tyranid forces, leading to their eventual defeat. Another weakness lies on their dependence on biomass. While they are incredibly efficient at consuming and recycling organic matter, they are still limited by the availability of resources. As they consume more and more planets, they must travel further and further to find new sources of biomass. This can stretch their supply lines thin and make them vulnerable to counterattacks. So what are the key factors that will ultimately determine whether the Tyranids conquer the galaxy? Several key elements are crucial to this equation. The Imperium of Man, despite its internal strife and corruption, remains the most formidable military power in the galaxy. The Adeptus Astartes, the Space Marines, are genetically engineered super soldiers who are specifically trained to fight the most dangerous threats, including the Tyranids. The Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard, is a vast army that can bring overwhelming firepower to bear against the swarming Tyranid hordes. The Adeptus Mechanicus, the tech priests of Mars, possess the knowledge and technology to develop new weapons and defenses against the Tyranid threat. The effectiveness and unity of these forces will be critical in holding back the Tyranid tide. While the Imperium is the primary defender of the galaxy, other Xenos races also pose a threat to the Tyranids. The Eldar, though dwindling in numbers, possess powerful psychic abilities and advanced technology that can be used to disrupt the hive mind and destroy Tyranid bioships. The Orcs, while not intentionally fighting the Tyranids, can still disrupt their plans through their chaotic and unpredictable behaviour. The Necrons, ancient robotic warriors, are immune to the Tyranids' digestive enzymes and possess weapons that can easily obliterate them. These races and the Tyranids will undoubtedly shape the future of the galaxy. The Tyranids themselves are not a monolithic entity. Different hive fleets have different strategies and adaptations. Some hive fleets may focus on speed and mobility, while others may prioritize brute force and attrition. The balance of power between these different hive fleets and the potential for internal conflict within the hive mind could affect their overall effectiveness. Furthermore, the Tyranids are constantly evolving, and there is always the possibility that they could develop a new weakness or vulnerability that could be exploited by their enemies. As mentioned earlier, the warp is a dangerous and unpredictable force that can affect the Tyranids in unexpected ways. A surge in warp activity could disrupt the hive mind and lead to widespread madness and chaos amongst the swarms. Conversely, the Tyranids could develop a way to harness the power of the warp for their own purposes, making them an even more formidable threat. The interaction between the Tyranids and the warp will be a crucial factor in determining their fate. Finally, it is important to acknowledge the unknown variables that could influence the outcome of this conflict. The Warhammer 40k universe is full of mystery and ancient secrets. There is always the possibility that a new technology, a forgotten relic, or a hidden power could emerge that could tip the balance in favour of one side or the other. In conclusion, the question of whether the Tyranids could conquer the galaxy is a complex one with no easy answer. They possess immense power, adaptability, and a relentless drive to consume all biomass. However, they also have weaknesses, and they face formidable opposition from the Imperium of Man and other Xenos races. The outcome of this galactic struggle will depend on a complex interplay of factors, including the strength of the opposition, the presence of other Xenos races, the internal factors within the Tyranids, the role of the warp, and the unknown variables that may emerge in the future. While the odds may seem stacked against the defenders of the galaxy, hope remains, flickering in the darkness, that the Tyranid tide can be stemmed and that the galaxy can be saved from utter consumption. Only time and countless battles will reveal the ultimate fate of the Warhammer 40k galaxy. Each adaptation and each desperate act of heroism will determine whether life in any form can endure in the face of the Tyranid onslaught. And so I've now covered the content for this video, but if there's anything that has been missed, please share them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this content, please remember to like the like and subscribe waypoints down below. In the grim dark of the far future, there is only war.